In 2022, the world watched in disbelief as news broke that one of the most legendary ski mountaineers on Earth had vanished. Her name was Hilaree Nelson. She wasn't just an elite athlete, she was a record breaker, a pioneer, and a mother of two. She had skied from the top of Everest and Lhotse in a single day. She had conquered more than 40 peaks across 16 countries. She was unstoppable. Until she wasn't. On a mountain she was prepared to dominate, Hilaree disappeared. The question everyone was left asking, how does a woman with that much experience simply vanish? Before we talk about the story of Hilaree, I would like to ask a favor. If you love mountaineering stories and the secrets hidden in the world's deadliest mountains like me, make sure to subscribe. I want to bring these stories back to life, and I'm on the road to my first 1,000 subscribers. Your subscribe would mean a lot to me. Now let's dive into the story of Hilaree. Hilaree Nelson's journey didn't begin on some icy ridge thousands of meters above sea level. It began in the heart of Seattle, Washington. Long before she ever touched a climbing rope, she was a little girl standing on skis before she could do basic math. Every winter weekend, Hilaree and her siblings would board a school bus headed for Stevens Pass, a modest ski resort tucked in the Cascade Mountains. It wasn't glamorous, it wasn't elite, but that mountain sparked something. Skiing wasn't just a sport for her, it was freedom, and that freedom became an obsession. While most college grads were printing resumes and hunting jobs, Hilaree packed her bags and moved to Chamonix, France, home to some of the most dangerous and legendary slopes in the Alps. There, she spent 5 punishing winters climbing, skiing, and pushing herself harder than ever before. In 1996, all that work paid off when she won the title of European Women's Extreme Skiing Champion. That title didn't come from talent alone, it came from grit formed in frozen mornings, shattered nerves, and vertical drops that most wouldn't even dare look at. But Hilaree wasn't chasing medals, she was chasing limits. Soon, skiing wasn't enough. Hilaree evolved into a ski mountaineer, an elite class of athletes who climb the most treacherous peaks on Earth by foot, then ski down faces that defy logic. We're talking ice-covered cliffs, avalanche-prone couloirs, and descents where one mistake means certain death. And she thrived in it. In 1999, she scored a sponsorship with the North Face, and her world exploded. Over the next 2 decades, she led over 40 major expeditions to some of the world's most dangerous mountains in places like Alaska, Pakistan, Tibet, and India. And she didn't just follow routes, she created them. But what she did in 2012 cemented her legacy. Hilaree summited Mount Everest, already an accomplishment few will ever know. But she didn't stop. Just hours after reaching the top of the world, she continued on to Lhotse, the 4th highest mountain on Earth. In one single push, she conquered 2 8,000-meter giants back-to-back. No other woman had ever done that before. No one had done it with that kind of speed, strength, and relentless drive. It wasn't just a climb. It was a statement. 6 years later, in 2018, she returned to Lhotse, this time with skis, the goal, to ski from the summit, a feat never before achieved by anyone. The route she chose was called the Dream Line. It was steep, it was narrow, it was deadly. A 610-meter drop straight from the peak, layered with wind-blown snow and the constant threat of avalanche. And Hilaree did it. Her descent became the first ski descent of Lhotse in history. That single line earned her the title of National Geographic Adventurer of the Year, and sealed her place as one of the greatest ski mountaineers to ever live. But that triumph had roots in something deeply personal, a comeback that started in 2017, centered on a haunting mountain in the Indian Himalayas called Papsura, the Peak of Evil. Hilaree had seen a photo of it back in 1999 and never let it go. She tried to climb it in 2013, but the expedition failed when a teammate fell ill, and snow conditions became too unstable. Around the same time, her personal life was unraveling. Failed climbs, a failed marriage, and growing doubt. At one point, she didn't even want to go outside, but she refused to give up. In 2017, she returned stronger, training with her partner, Jim Morrison, in Telluride. They went back to Papsura together and reached the summit just 12 days after landing in India. But getting down was another battle. They faced a 600-meter descent at a 60-degree pitch, with icy snow and nearly zero visibility. Hilaree later called it one of the hardest days of her life in the mountains. But she did it. 18 years after first seeing that photo, she made the dream real. And then, just 2 weeks later, she and Jim were off again. This time to Alaska. They climbed Denali via the Kasson Ridge, a route feared even by elite climbers, and skied down the infamous Messner Face. 2 brutal expeditions. 1 single summer. Hilaree wasn't just back, she was unstoppable. But when she wasn't scaling cliffs, she was a mom in Telluride, Colorado. While other parents were packing lunches or sitting in traffic, Hilaree was juggling school drop-offs with Himalayan expeditions. She could summit Everest and still make it back in time for her kid's soccer game. That kind of life takes balance, and she made it look effortless. Men's Journal named her one of the 25 most adventurous women of the last 25 years. The North Face didn't just sponsor her, they made her the captain of their entire global athlete team. Then came Manaslu, an 8,163-meter giant known as the Killer Mountain. Not because of height, but because of its ruthless terrain, unpredictable weather, hidden crevasses, deadly cornices. More than 80 people have died trying to reach its summit. Hilaree knew the risks, she studied them, she trained for them. In September 2022, she and Jim made the decision to take on Manaslu. Their goal? To reach the summit and ski all the way down, just like they had on Lhotse. On September 26, 2022, they made their final push. Starting in darkness from Camp 4 at over 7,400 meters, they climbed through freezing winds and thin air. It had been a brutal season, constant storms, rain, and fog. Some climbers had already turned back. Hilaree admitted she didn't feel like herself. She felt off, out of rhythm. But she kept going. By mid-morning, they reached the true summit of Manaslu. It should have been another triumph. They didn't waste time. The wind was building. Jim clicked into his skis and started the descent. Hilaree followed. Snow was quiet, the mountain eerily still. Then, disaster. A slab of snow broke beneath Hilaree's skis. In an instant, she lost her edge. The slope gave way, and she fell. The avalanche didn't roar. It moved like a silent trap. She tumbled down the southern face of Manaslu, over cliffs and ice. Her body dropped more than 1,800 meters, nearly 6,000 feet. Jim watched helplessly from above. He called for her. The team searched. They probed the snow, scanned for movement, shouted into the wind, but there was nothing. Helicopters were grounded by clouds and time slipped away. The next day, September 27th, skies cleared just enough for 2 helicopters to be launched. Jim joined the crew. What followed was hours of searching. Then finally, on September 28th, they spotted her. A faint outline in the snow at 6,700 meters. A helicopter landed. Jim and a Sherpa climbed down and found her body. She was gone. Hilaree's body was flown to Kathmandu. Following tradition, she was cremated. The news spread fast. From elite climbers to weekend skiers, the world mourned. Jim posted a message. "My loss is indescribable. I am focused on her children and their steps forward." The North Face called her the most prolific ski mountaineer of her generation. Friends remembered her not just for her climbs, but for the way she changed the game. Hilaree Nelson broke records. She broke boundaries. She proved that mothers could be mountaineers, and women could lead the most dangerous expeditions on Earth. Manaslu took her life, but it didn't erase her legacy. It cemented it. Her journey may have ended on that mountain, but her story will keep inspiring generations to climb higher, dream bigger, and never turn back.